ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What Do You Say? I'm your host, Frank Termini, and today we got the guy behind the camera. Like, whenever I watch Joe Rogan, and he always like, Tony this, Tony that, I'm always like, what's Tony look like?
I've never seen him.
I haven't either.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I've never, ever seen Tony. Actually, hold on. I did see him once. He's a huge wrestling fan, Tony is. And he had on, who's the big wrestler? Ric Flair.
Okay.
He had Ric Flair on his podcast. And so Tony did the podcast with Ric Flair. But I can't remember what he looks like.
I'll pull up a picture.
Yeah, and so you got to do that.
Exactly.
You got to do that. And so now I have, Xavier, the What Do You Say's version of Tony on with me here. So what I wanted to do, I want to promote this new training business I have. So I started this new training business, Core Personal Training. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. We're on TikTok. And it's actually, it's getting some headway. We got about 12 clients signed up. But here's what happened. Here's how I went down this rabbit hole. So I had two really good friends that checked themselves into inpatient rehab facilities due to exacerbations in depression. Okay. And they were across the country. One was on the West Coast and one was in Kansas. And both of these facilities did the exact same thing with these guys' diet. And so I was like, what the heck's going on here? Why are these two separate psychiatric facilities treating these exacerbations the same way from a dietary standpoint? And so I start diving into this diet. And it come to find out that probably 95% of your serotonin is formed in your gut. Okay.
It's your second brain, right?
Well, there you go. Right. So serotonin's here in the brain. It actually functions as a neurotransmitter, but it's kind of a neurotransmitter and a hormone. And so the foods that increase serotonin production in the gut are the exact same foods that decrease inflammatory markers in the body. And inflammatory markers in the body can cause joint pain, and they can cause psychological pain as well, obviously, right? And so I thought, okay, this is crazy, right? And then you find that pathways to the brain for pain, chronic pain in particular, connect to the emotional center. And so people with chronic pain also have issues with depression and anxiety. And then you also have lack of serotonin increases depression and anxiety. And so I'm seeing how this whole entire picture is put together, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this on my own. And because here, I've had low back surgery. I've had 4 knee surgeries. I've had 4 shoulder surgeries here, 1 shoulder surgery here. So there's like 10 orthopedic surgeries that I've had. The back has been the most chronic as far as like pain was concerned. And it was to the point where I was afraid to move. And so I'm like, I'm going to try this. And then Michelle's also had a lumbar fusion.
Sure.
So I just had a microdiscectomy. She had a fusion. And she's had a C-section for the twins. She's given birth to 5 kids, last 2 C-section. And so we were like, we're N equals 2. But we're going to try this. Okay. Well, then Mitch Thompson, who's been on this podcast, you've met Mitch. Mitch got diagnosed with real bad Crohn's disease. right? And they wanted to put him on IV Remicade. And he was like, no, I ain't doing that shit. So, and actually Mitch is, part of Core Personal Training. He's one of the coaches. And so we're actually N equals 3. And so we're like, here, we're going to commit and we're going to do this. And I lost 7% body fat and gained 11 pounds.
Now, is this structured around just the diet, or
It is structured. Well, here, the training program, no, it is not structured around just a diet, because we will also give them, they will have an app, and in their app, they'll say, if they can commit to how many days of working out. Let's say you can commit to 4 days of working out. Day 1, it tells them exactly what to do. And then it also has videos. Like, let's say I tell them I want them to do a forward lunge. And they're like, I don't know what the hell a forward lunge is. Click the video, it shows them. And they know exactly what they need to do. So, yes, the app tells you exactly what you need to do. You have no guessing. And then the program will switch every 5 to 6 weeks. It's a 6-month program. So we'll progress them and make it harder. But they'll have videos for all their exercises. And then there's also a food plan with it. And Michelle lost 7% body fat. Yeah. Yeah. But the key that I can't explain how much more free my movement is. I mean, like when I say I was terrified to move, I would bend over to pick something up and people would be like, your back hurting you? And I wouldn't have any back pain. It was just psychologically, I was just scared to do anything.
moving easy?
Yeah. Just ginger, right? Guarded. Guarded is a good word for it. I was guarded. And so we're going to pick a topic once a week that surrounds health. And I'm going to talk about it on the podcast, in addition to my guests that I have that are just as arbitrary as they come.
Sure.
I really, this guest, I can't wait to have this one guest on. It's a real good story. So she was supposed to come on today. I was excited to get 2 things done at once, but we'll have to reschedule her. But here, I want to talk about cost. Okay. Because obviously there's financial constraints. And it's crazy to me that people have no problem investing in their illness and shit their pants when you ask them to invest in their health. And the bottom line is they're going to spend the shit either way. They're probably going to spend it way more. If they actually invested in themselves and invest in this program, they're not going to need it in perpetuity, right? You can't take away the tools that we're going to give you,
No.
right? And so it's like, why on earth are you so terrified to invest in your health, but you have no problem investing in your illness? So listen to this. All right. So okay. Let's just talk about diabetes. An estimated total cost of diabetes in the United States, this is yearly, $412.9 billion, including direct medical costs and indirect costs like reduced productivity. This equates to about 1 in 4 healthcare dollars being spent on diabetic care. Direct medical costs, which include things like doctor visits, medications, hospitalizations, accounted for $306.6 billion. Indirect costs, such as reduced productivity due to lost work days, accounted for $106.3 billion. A person with diabetes incurs an average medical expenditure of $19,736 per year, with $12,022 directly attributable to diabetes. And that's according to the Diabetic Journal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is diabetesjournals.org. Okay. So per person with diabetes, you are looking at a direct $12,000 a year.
At least.
Okay. All right. And so let me just say that the Core Personal Training Program is not going to cost you $12,000 a year. Not even close to being close. Okay. And Here, we have a guy. I'm super fired up about this guy. He is 48, had a heart attack 2 years ago, plus he's diabetic. Well, hold on, was diabetic. Been on the program for 2 years. He dropped his A1C, which is his diabetic marker, dropped it from 5.7. They want you to be under 5.1. He's under 5.1 and he's not taking any diabetic medication anymore. In 2 months.
2 months.
2 months. Drops the A1C. Almost a whole point. And let me look at his. He sent this to me. Because we also have him do his LDL went, and so they want your LDL. Cardiologist wanted under 100. His is in the 30s. Yeah, and he's going to talk to the cardiologist about getting off of his diabetic medication. So, and if you look at his, here you go, body scan. Started out with 29.2% body fat. In 2 months, he went to 26.2% body fat, lost 3% body fat. He was at 256 pounds. He's at 243 pounds. I mean, so he's lost 13 pounds and 3% body fat. His LDL is in the 30s, and he is no longer on diabetic medication. He is only 1/3 into the program.
2 months in.
2 months in. Program's 6 months. So now that's just diabetes.
Sure.
That's just diabetes. Okay, so now let's look at heart disease. Okay, so the average cardiac patient annual healthcare costs can vary significantly depending on the specific condition, the severity of the condition, and the individual's access to care and insurance. A general estimate of the total healthcare expenditure for adults with heart disease is around $5,216 annually. However, it can be much higher for specific conditions like heart failure and those requiring extensive hospital stays. General heart disease, $5,216. Heart failure, $28,950. This is per person. Okay. Unstable angina, $6,466. Acute myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack, $11,664. Acute heart failure, $11,686. Acute ischemic stroke, $11,635. Coronary artery bypass surgery, $37,611. Now, once again, we're not even close to costing you that much money.
No, what are they signing up for? Is it 6
So
months?
So it's a 6-month program.
Okay.
Okay. You will have that's the front end. Okay. Now you have the option, because some people need longer than 6 months.
Yeah.
They just do.
Might want.
Yeah. And some people don't necessarily need longer than 6 months, but they just want it.
Yeah.
Okay. They just want to continue to get better. And so after that, it's month to month, and it's $350 a month after that. So it's $500 a month for 6 months. Okay. Which you have to commit to. And then after that, month to month, $350 a month. And here, I have people that come into me and they will have access to me for 2 hours a week. Okay. And they'll spend just for one-on-one training, just training. This is no dietary advising, none of that. Okay. This is just, hey, you're going to come in and I want to come in. I want you to give me a workout. Okay, great. They'll spend $800 a month on that. Right. And they get access to me for 2 hours. When now you get access to me And or our other trainers, Mitch, who's now a nutritionist, dietitian. Okay, he took all those certifications and did all that because that's his niche, right? Which is why we brought him on board. My niche is, since I have the background in physical therapy, right? And so I like doing all the exercise component, but I also learned so much in this process as far as what you're supposed to eat. I just haven't went and gotten the credentials.
Sure.
I could go do it,
Yeah.
but why? I just, so it's like, why on earth? Here's the other thing. I don't think people realize how shitty they feel.
I agree. Until you feel good, you don't know how.
You just don't realize. I mean, I knew it. I'm like, here, I'm 46 years old. I have 11-year-old twins, a 14-year-old daughter, 28-year-old stepson, and I'm missing something. It's like, I know that I shouldn't just have to concede to feeling this way.
Yeah. Right?
Terrified every time I get up and have to go sit down and go to the bathroom, right? Is my back going to lock up on me today? And I just, and it's interesting that it was the psychiatric component that led me to the orthopedic component, right? And then I'm realizing the whole entire thing's circular and people get themselves caught in this hamster wheel. And I can't tell you how many people that I have in this program that they don't even understand that they have a psychological component to their pain. They're not even seeing it. They'll call me frantic. Oh my God, I'm starting to get this feeling in my back again. And I'm like, okay, wait a second, calm down. Hold on. Let's just tell me where your pain level was at when you initially started this program. Oh, well, my pain level was, 6. What kind of pain are you feeling right now? Oh, it's about a 3. So you're half of where you were at. And then you ultimately have to start rewiring the pathways in their brain and change the way they're thinking, right? Because you have to change their perspective. It's like, okay, so wait a second, your pain's half gone. It's half of what it was, when you started.
And they're still going to feel the same as if it was a 6.
Yeah, and it's not. Right? It's like, don't freak out. Okay. It's like the program's not going to prevent you from ever having exacerbations in your symptoms, whether it's mental or physical. But what it does do is teach you how to deal with them. And it makes the exacerbation not near as severe. Like I had an exacerbation in my back pain probably, it was a Saturday morning. I slept wrong. Now, normally these would last 10 days. This didn't even last 24 hours. It didn't even, and I used to have to take, I wouldn't even bother taking pills because I knew it wasn't going to do shit for me. I knew I was just screwed until it just went away. I took a muscle relaxer, laid around for the whole day, did my stretches that I tell all my clients to do. And literally the next day I was fine. And I woke up and I was crooked. I was like, sideways, leaning away from my pain. I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. I had to have my stepson drive me to Gianna's game because I couldn't drive myself. And literally by the next day, I didn't have any pain at all. And it's all due to not eating those foods that shoot your inflammatory markers through the roof. Here, let's look at this. Here, let's read this one.
Sure.
Here you go, cancer. Most cancers rely heavily on glucose for energy. They take it up and metabolize it in a way that differs from normal cells and process it, known as Warburg metabolism. Here you go. Sugar's role. Ready for this one? While some sources suggest that sugar, glucose, directly feeds cancer, it is important to note that all cells in the body, including cancer cells, require glucose for fuel and energy. Dietary sugar is a source of glucose, but it's not the only one, as the body also produces glucose from other sources like protein. Some research suggests that high fructose intake may directly contribute to increased cancer risk, potentially through increased fat storage and insulin resistance. I mean, so now you're even talking about feeding cancer cells and contributing to that. Let's look at orthopedic conditions. $420 billion annually. Orthopedic conditions are the major driver of healthcare spending in the United States, with the total cost exceeding $420 billion annually. The cost encompasses direct healthcare expenses like surgeries and therapies, as well as indirect like loss of productivity. Can't go to work.
No.
The high costs are largely due to prevalence in conditions like wear and tear, major trauma, autoimmune disease, which impact a significant portion of the adult population. So just total hip replacement, $6,798. Knee surgery, $16,000. The most common condition is low back pain. So let's just look at the most common. The most $50 billion annually. Direct medical cost for low back pain is $50 billion annually, includes doctor visits, imaging, physical therapy, medications. Additionally, indirect costs like loss of productivity, wages contribute to significant financial burden, potentially reaching $100 billion or more. So the indirect is more than the direct cost. Yeah. Medications, physical therapy, loss of productivity, reduced wages, long-term costs. Spinal surgery, depending on the type, you're looking at it says approximately 40,000. So it says the spinal surgeries, vertebroplasty, kyphoplasty, discectomy, and fusion can range from approximately 1.4 million to 5 million, depending on the type of surgery. I mean, it's an incredible amount of money. It is an incredible amount of money. Yeah. Per patient, you're looking at $5,763 a year. Right? That doesn't include lost wages for time off work. It's an incredible amount of money. And then they also mention autoimmune disease. So here, which here, dietary effects on autoimmune. Western diet, high processed foods, sugars, saturated fats, increase developing autoimmune conditions and worsen symptoms due to its pro-inflammatory nature. Conversely, anti-inflammatory diets can like Mediterranean diets, rich in whole foods, fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, may be beneficial. Specific foods like dairy, gluten, trigger inflammation and worsen symptoms. Dairy is a bad one. And then let's see how much money is spent on autoimmune disease. Here you go. Annual costs for treating autoimmune disease in the United States exceed $100 billion. diagnosis and treatment, medication costs, hospitalizations, loss of productivity, caregiver cost, travel and accommodation, stress and anxiety. I mean, it's through the roof. Oh, wait a second. So we also talked about diet and how foods decrease serotonin production, which would ultimately increase depression and anxiety. Let's see what the cost of that is. I bet it's worse than orthopedic conditions. So
Just all the medication that comes.
oh my God. Hold on. Let's look. The economic cost. Loss of productivity alone for depression and anxiety has been estimated to cost $1 trillion per year.
Yeah.
16 trillion by 2030. Economic burden of diagnosed depression, 1.6% of the gross domestic product. It's an astronomical amount of money. It's an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah.
Which all can be controlled. Hold on, let me rephrase this. Because I had John Burke on. John Burke was the clinical psychologist, and he came on. You may remember John Burke. He came on, and he was really skeptical about what he was saying. But my question was, if people ate right and exercised, would there be less people medicated for anxiety, depression? And he unequivocally said 100%. Now, does that mean that there isn't a need for antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications? No, I'm not saying that. I think there will still be people who need them, independent of how much exercise and how clean you eat. Okay? But he also then said that the people who will still need medications, their medications will be way more effective in the presence of good diet and regular exercise. So now you're talking about, because here, let's look at exercise and serotonin production. I should have been more prepared. Aerobic exercise like walking, running, biking, swimming are particularly effective in boosting serotonin levels. The mechanism, exercise increases a release of tryptophan, which the brain then uses to produce serotonin. Increased serotonin levels improve mood, reduce stress, and promote relaxation. Regular exercise, even shorter bursts, can lead to significant and sustained mental health benefits. And I think a big part of the problem is, maybe even somebody wants to do it. They have no idea where to start, which is all the more reason to find professionals like me to help you.
I think that's interesting because it's usually if you're going to start something, you're probably not going to go to a professional and invest in it when that's absolutely what you should be doing.
100%.
Because once you put your bill to it, you're committed. Like, you're going to want to do that.
Once you have a vested interest in it, but here's the other thing. Then people go, they have no idea what the hell they're doing, and then they fuck themselves up.
Or they follow too many different things, and then they get lost, and then nothing becomes consistent.
Here, that's a good sign. That's a good thought. Like, here, think about this. Let's like a golfer. Let's say that golfer has 10 swing doctors. His swing's going to be screwed because he's got information here, some over here, some over here. Then he ain't going to know what, he or she ain't going to know what the hell to do. Right? And so, and the problem is doctors don't know shit. Doctors don't know any more than anyone about nutrition. Nothing. Here, Doc Cicero was on here and he flat out said it. They never talked to anything about nutrition. The problem is some of these damn doctors are so freaking egotistical, they don't have the wherewithal of how to say, hey, I don't know. And so they go and make all these bold statements they don't know shit about. They don't know absolutely anything about. Here, I went to the nurse practitioner at my cardiologist. My LDL was 84. She's like, oh, well, now the new standard's 55, so we're going to give you another medication. I said, no, you're not. I'm not taking another medication. Well, then we're going to increase your statin. No, you're not. You and I both know that 84 LDL, it's fine. It's fine. You don't need to give me any. Here, Big Pharma has a lot to do with what these doctors tell you.
Just about everything. But
I mean, here, okay. Let's see how much money statins make a year. This is all about money. Let's just face it. It's all about money. It's all about money of whether or not people sign up with me, right? If they can afford it, they do it. If they can't afford it, they don't. The question is, can you not afford it?
sure.
Can you not afford to do it?
And just looking at all the things that come with it, if you actually don't train or don't eat right, baseline for the diabetes was 12 grand.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's insane. How money do statins make? Statins generate billions of dollars in revenue annually. Specific figures vary from between the statins. Global market is estimated over 20 billion. Global statin market reached 15 billion in 2021. Is projected to reach 22 billion by 2032. That's just the cholesterol medicines. Let's look at beta blockers, which are for blood pressure. That's just one blood pressure medicine. $11.54 billion. It's the beta blocker. Okay. So between medications, okay, now let's look at psych meds.
It's going to be huge.
$58.91 billion. Oh, did we do diabetic? We did beta blockers. We did statins.
Insulin's super expensive. Couldn't imagine.
$113.63 billion. I mean, it's like, how on earth do you not?
It's all preventable to an extent.
I think so.
Yeah, 100%.
I think so. Yeah, I think all of it's preventable. The American diet is awful. The American lifestyle is awful because the lifestyle feeds the diet.
Yeah.
Because it's a fast-paced lifestyle, and people are like, I'm starving. I haven't had time to eat all day. Run to the drive-thru.
Yep.
Now what? Now you're screwed, right? And that McDonald's, I don't even know if that's real food.
Probably not.
It's so good, though.
I would never lie about it.
It's
like
so
fries,
good. It's so good. You know, I mean, but it's like, come on. We you know, and here at the end of the day, this is what I tell people. It's like, here, look, you don't have to eliminate this stuff for the rest of your life. Let's get you to where you want to be, not only how you look and how you feel, but biochemically, what's your blood pressure, what's your LDL, what's your triglycerides. They all get blood work done, and we're looking at all that too. So that's another benefit as well. And let's have the whole entire thing look good. Because here, you can have dudes walk in here and they look fantastic, but you go get blood work on them and they're wrecked because, they're taking steroids, which I take testosterone. But my testosterone's 84 if it's not supplemented. Normal range is 250 to 800.
Yeah.
So I felt like shit. So yeah, I do take testosterone. I don't want to be one of them, and I honestly think, probably any male over 35 years old should probably take testosterone. You're probably,
see where your levels are.
and you should probably be supplemented, because here's a problem. And we'll get into this in another podcast on hormones, but if the range is 250 to 800 and you go into the doctor and you're at 250, the doctor's not going to supplement you because you're within range.
Sure.
But you're going to feel like dog shit. And you're not going to put on lean muscle, and your sex drive is going to be shit, and your sleep-wake patterns are going to be shit. But walk around at 800 and you're 16 again, at least from a sex drive standpoint.
Sure. I'm Superman.
Yeah. At least from a sex drive standpoint. So anyway, and I hate, listen, I'm not a hard salesman,
Sure.
right? I'm going to educate you. Do what you want with the information, right? I'm not going to sit there and hard sell anyone.
Those are the best salesmen.
I just, I want you to sign up. I do. I want you to feel better. I want to show you what we can do for you. I really, really do. But I ain't chasing your ass around all day long. Right? I mean, either you want to feel better or you don't. So it's like, and here, I have people, there's financial constraints. Yeah, sure, I get it. So we'll modify the payment structure. I don't want anyone to miss out on this because, I can't afford $500 a month. Okay, well, then let's do $250 a month over a longer period of time. Let's get you on board. Let's get you feeling better. Let's change the trajectory of your life. So here, I said this on my Instagram page the other day. There's all kinds of people, dads, I'll die for my family. Yeah, but will you live for them? Are you going to get up early and go work out for them? Are you going to eat right for them? Are you going to take care of your mental and physical health for them? And that's moms, it's anybody, right? It's like, educate yourself on how to do this, and then no one can take that away from you. And then you can teach someone else, teach your kids. Let them see you doing it. Establish that healthy lifestyle. I don't know. I just think it's so important. I think it's so important to do it. So that's my spiel. I'm going to get off my soapbox today. We're going to do this. I want to do this once a week because we got
Core personal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I want to do it once a week. So let me ask you this. Here, how can we structure it to where it can get posted on to the What Do You Say podcast and then also get posted on to my Instagram, my Core Personal Training page?
So are you going to do the Core Personal on top of normal podcasting?
Yeah.
Still have frequent guests?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
I love having guests.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'd be the same. We would get with Darby probably. Give him the account if he doesn't already have the Core Personal.
I could give him the Core Personal Training account.
Yeah.
And so then he would just upload it onto that page too.
Yes. Because he's doing the uploads for your pages.
Yeah.
I just throw them in a folder.
You throw them in a folder. He uploads it onto What Do You Say? And then he could simultaneously upload it onto Core Personal Training.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what we'll do. All right. Awesome. See you guys next week.